So what's up, people? I was thinking about something, and I thought it would be helpful to make a video about it. If you one of those people who suffer from what I like to call people pleasing syndrome, then this video is for you. It could be useful. So growing up, I was labeled as what you can call as the good child, and I think the reason why we end up being people pleasers, uh, empaths specifically, is through learning behavior. And as we grow up, we people employed us for what we do, for service we render to them, and they always kind of cheer us on, and we feel like this is what we're supposed to do. As kids, when you grow up, when your behaviors are rewarded, you tend to conceptualize that as good behavior. And when your behaviors are not rewarded, you tend to understand that you should not do that. So, whenever you would do something or do a favor for a grown up and not be a rebel, you would kind of like get a cookie, and you could watch your your friends or your siblings that are being rebellious not get that cookie. So you then attribute your good behavior, your essentially pleasing your parents or your guardian or whoever was around you at that time, as something you should do, and kind of looked at the the rebellious children, your peers, as something that you should not do. And that behavior then permeates into your existence, into your entire being. As you get older, then you become people pleaser. You try your best to appease people by going out of your way, and that is the worst form of relationship. And you find yourself in relationship pleasing people and not pleasing yourself, which you essentially doing a disfavor to you and others, including the ones you're pleasing. So now that I'm looking back in retrospect, as I'm learning all of these things today, I'm looking back and I'm saying, Jesus Christ, I've been in terrible relationships. I've been a terrible partner to everyone I've ever encountered with, and being in a relationship with them. Because what I try to do is go out of my way to please people. Go out of my way to please people. If you send me a text, I respond to it automatically. I could be doing something, I drop what I'm doing and respond to your text. Send me an email, same thing. You want me to do something for you, same thing, same thing, same thing, over and over. And then to realize how hurtful that essentially become. And now that I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, oh God, I've been doing it all wrong as far as relationship goes. I've been a terrible partner to everybody that I've ever had a relationship with, because I've extended myself too far too thin to please them, to appease them essentially, and by doing so, I do a disfavor and not please myself. And now that I understand it, what I was doing was essentially counterproductive to my being. And now I try to not please people. In fact, I please myself. And by pleasing myself, I then please others. So if you find yourself pleasing people, and I have to tell you that really that's something you learn from growing up. It is something that because your behavior were rewarded when you were a kid, and it essentially kind of registered in your mind as this is good, this is what you do. You please people, you please parents, you please guardians, you please friends, and you please acquaintances, you please everybody around you. But in doing so, it literally means you have to put yourself aside, which means you're not pleasing yourself. And by doing so, you're not helping others realize their greatest potential. So the idea is to if you want to please others, you must please yourself first. And how do you do that? If you please yourself first, then you by default pleasing others, because you say yes to yourself, then others will actually benefit from that. So if you find yourself pleasing people, understand that this is something you've learned from growing up, and it's not going to be fruitful. It's not going to actually enable you to have a powerful relationship or reciprocated relationships, and all your relationship will be one-sided, and you'll essentially be someone's bitch to some degree, to put it bluntly. And you want to revert by doing things differently, by doing the opposite. The very opposite is to actually say no, and not give explanation, and not care how the other person feel, because you don't feel like doing it. And it's to actually please yourself every chance you get before anyone else. And then when you do that, you are enabling others essentially to do the very same, and look out for themselves first before they look out for others. Even in the airplane, they tell you all the time, if if something go wrong, the plane shall go down, you should first put your oxygen first. Make sure your oxygen is secure before you can help someone else. It is not selfish, and even if it is selfish, rightfully so, you come first. In any given situation, you come first. You serve yourself first, and then you are in position to serve others. Until then, I'm sorry to tell you, you are in no position to help others until you have learned to help yourself. I think I saw something in Oprah once that says something about until your cup, you have to fill your cup to its entirety, and then you'll be able to fill another person's cup. Until then, you are doing it with bias. You are doing it maybe to get on their good graces, to get on their good side, and to be looked at as a good person. But you're not doing them a favor. You're not doing yourself a favor. In fact, you're doing them and yourself a disfavor. So don't get caught up in the good person bullshit. You know, don't get caught up in the title. Just please yourself. Do what's best for you. And by doing so, you are empowering others to do the very same. Don't be a people pleaser, because your relationships will be one-sided and they'll never be fruitful. And you'll essentially be somebody's bitch. So, don't be somebody's bitch. Cheers.